So today we're going to be making a pattern for the lower part of the dress. That's a halter dress that we're working on. The lower part is a flare dress. So we're working with this beautiful piece of fabric. So first of all, we're going to cut out our flare on the main fabric before we start cutting out the other pieces for the top. So yes, this is 3 yards of the fabric because I'm still going to add some other designs to it. So first we decide the length of the flare. So I'm going to be working with a full length of the gown is 40 inches. The half length is 18 inches. That's the high waist length is 18 inches. So 40 minus 18 inches, that should be like 22 inches. So I'll just add an extra 2 inches because I want it to be a little bit longer, so that I would now end up making it 24 inches as the length of the flare. So now for us to get the radius of the flare, you divide the round high waist of the skirt. The round high waist of the skirt is 30. We add 3 inches for the zip allowance, and then we subtract 4 inches so that we don't have too much gathers or excesses. So when we subtract it, we now divide what we get by 6.28. So after dividing this, we got 4.28, 4.6. So that 4.6 now is going to serve as the radius of the flare. So now this thing I'm doing now is radius of flare plus the length of flare. So the radius is like the width of the flare. So you get that by dividing the round measurements by 6.28 for 360-degree flares. So I got 4.6. Adding it to the length of the flare, it was a total of 24 plus 4.6, that's 28.6. So when it was added, it was now doubled. So you're going to use it to create a box, and that's why sometimes we call 360-degree flares box flares. So on both sides, you're just going to measure that's 24.6 times 2. Measure it on both sides so that you can get what to fold with. Sometimes some people do this without doing this calculation, and when they do so, they end up wasting a lot of fabric. So you can see I had to remeasure to be sure that the measurement was still giving me 28.6 on a fold. That's like doubled, so I don't get to waste fabric and I don't have a shortage. So I had to measure it on all sides to be sure that it gave me the equal part. So yes, so basically that's it. Make sure that you do this for yours so that you don't have any shortages. Now at this point, we are going to start marking the radius of our flare. Remember, we get the radius of the flare by dividing the round measurements of flare by 6.28. I know that you might be confused as to why we have to subtract 4. We want the flare to be a bit tight. We don't really want to have gathers or pleats. So most times when you divide the round measurements directly, you end up having some excesses. We don't want to have excesses. We just want to have the exact measurement. That's why we had to even subtract the 4 inches in the first place. So now looking at this flare now that has been folded, you're going to see different sides. You're going to see the folded part, which is this place, and you're going to see other parts on selvages. Any part on pieces is called selvages. So if you're new to my channel, do well to subscribe to this video, share and like so that other people can follow up too. So we're going to take the radius of our flare from the part that is all folded, this particular part. Start from the sharp point. So I'm using a bit of a fabric pencil to mark the radius. So the radius we're working with is 4.6 inches. So after measuring the 4.6 inches, you just go ahead and measure it round. Don't just mark it on one or two sides and connect it with a straight line. You shouldn't have a straight line at this point. You would have an arc, like a curve. So measure it, connect it all the way around. So after measuring it, we're now going to measure the length of the flare. So we're measuring the length of the flare from the point where the radius measurement stopped. So measure the length of the flare, which in this case we're working with 24. So that 24 is inclusive of my sewing allowances and other allowances. So I just wanted to be a little bit longer than 22, because by the time I add a crinoline mesh, it's going to make the dress a little bit shorter. It will look a little bit shorter because it will stand. So alternatively, you can start your measurement from that center point. So you can just go ahead and measure 28.6 inches directly from that sharp point all the way around. Okay, so I have this detailed measurements in my book, Pattern Making for the Shapely African Woman. So if you're new to this channel, you can just click on the link in the description box to order the Pattern Making for the Shapely African Woman here in Nigeria, or if you're abroad, you can order it on Amazon. They are also available on Amazon. Pattern Making for the Shapely African Woman and Advanced Pattern Mastery. So you just go around to take your measurements all the way around. So alternatively, you can still start from the sharp point to take your 28.6 inches all the way around, or you can just start at the end of the radius, which is 4.6. You can start from there to take your measurement. So you're going to get the same thing. So be very patient when you're marking out this. So just go ahead, mark it out with your chalk, connect it. You should have a curve. It shouldn't be a straight line so it doesn't look pointy and all too sharp. So you now use your scissors to cut out the radius first, then you go ahead to cut out the length of the flip. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share and subscribe so that you can get notified when we post new videos. If you're looking for a physical fashion school in Enugu to enroll in, you can enroll with us at 48 Nanny Street, opposite Queen School, Ogwenyu Layout, Enugu. EREX Academy of Fashion, Enugu's best fashion academy. You can check out some of our amazing work on this channel. You can also check out our website on www.erexfashionacademy.com. So now that we are done with this particular part, we're going to decide where we're going to use as the center back piece. So we're going to take one of the pieces and split it in half so that it's going to be our center back zipper line. Okay, so you can see it, we're splitting along this point, and now our 360-degree flare is totally ready with our opening for a zipper. And now I have folded it in half and it's looking like a 180-degree flare, and we have our opening for our zipper. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Okay, so now we can just go ahead to open it up. If you want to open it up, you can see the beautiful fabric. So we're going to proceed to making the halter dress. So after we're done cutting this, we're going to cut out the other fabrics on for the blouse. We're going to interface it using airstay for the topmost part, then using softest pad for the body of the blouse, the front, the back. We're using softest pad. Yes, I know a lot of people are not used to using softest pad, but we're going to use softest pad. Then I'm going to cut it off camera so that the video doesn't get too long. So I'm going to come back to the stitching part so that you can see how this beautiful dress is going to be coupled. My name is Eberechi Igwe Owana, creative director of EREX Academy of Fashion, Enugu's best fashion academy, and the writer of the books Pattern Making for the Shapely African Woman and Advanced Pattern Mastery for the African Woman. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next training video.